Hey everybody. So, you saw from the blip of stream there that we did try the thing. Unfortunately, it appears to not work. Apparently, I'm not the only person experiencing this. A very specific to 1.16, apparently, issue. And there is a fix in the works, but it's on the PTB. So I would need to install the XSplit PTB to actually fix it. I'm saying PTB, it's officially PTR, but suffice to say, not happening tonight. So, just got a deal, I guess. So for the time being, we're gonna continue just working on our code and hopefully figuring out problems that we can figure out. Right. I had to comment out a bunch of things that were erroring just to make it possible to try and boot, so... Anyways. So, the goals selector does have a list of tasks, and unfortunately, it's private, which means we can't reference it like we used to with the tasks from the task manager, or whatever it was called, I don't remember. We also cannot stream them because we need to access the goals themselves. This doesn't extend out of anything, so if it's not in here, we cannot create it. Now, theoretically, we could create a goal selector of our own, and just extend out of goal selector and just give that one thing a function that just returns the list of tasks. But we'd need to install that into basically every entity that we actually wanted to use. Which is not so great. I'd prefer being able to just dump it into any entity we find and just use it, but we would need to actually reboot their entire AI manager otherwise. Hey Lang, I've been messing with textures and models in Minecraft recently, currently trying to get a custom player model to work, but it hasn't gone well so far. Well, good luck. I don't know if you can make custom player models, but good luck. You want to be the stream boss, but the glitchiness looks concerning. It's entirely on, like, Streamlabs's end, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. But, The stream boss is at 35 health, so if it is specific to whomever is currently, the current stream boss, then you can at least find out quite easily. Anyways, for the time being, in the absence of actually creating a custom goal selector, I think we just need to create an interface. That just lets us grab specifically, which means that we also need to have the task in the entity, which is annoying, but oh well. So what are we gonna call our interface? How about civilized entity? Settled entity? Settlement entity makes a bit more sense, because you can be in a settlement but not necessarily be civilized. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Espa. They're certainly on their last legs. They're at 15 health. Okay, so we want public good boy entity. We want public entity AI operate room get room operate desk. Okay. So in here, if creature instance of settlement entity, return settlement entity get, is it room operate or operate room? I can't remember. Operate room? Room operate desk. I should change that. And otherwise, we just return null. A tragedy, but oh well. So now our kobolds need to get a little bit more complicated. Kobold parade, nope. Items, no. Where? Oh, there's the sheep. There's the kobold. Just want to quickly refactor that because it's standard practice for me to have my I at the start of class names for interfaces. Because it makes it much easier to figure out what thing is. So yeah, we're probably just staying in the code for today. A pity, but oh well. Does it just take... Yes, it does. Okay, good. Controllers in this are based heavily on how skeletons work. Because a skeleton that is holding a bow will attempt to shoot it, but a skeleton that's holding a sword will use instead a melee strategy. They swap between the two. And we mostly just expand that into a more formalized setting that allows us to do that for basically any number of tasks on basically anything. There we go. Congrats, Espa. Okay. So, if we know that that's a thing, then add behavior 3, the kobold, well, power 1 entity, I guess, power 1 entity dot get operate room task. Which is now basically the same as that, except we're using it more cohesively. So that fixes that. Next thing... Now, how do we manipulate the attributes? Wolves are a good example for this, because they change their amount of health when they're healed. So there is our default at 8, but it goes up to 20 when they are tamed. So get attributes to max health. There we go. Okay, very straightforward. Okay, so we have the operate room task, which is semi-irrelevant right now because kobold rooms aren't created, and you've been low-key wondering what the stream boss thing meant this whole time. Basically, it is how do I put this? Progressively incrementing health object used as a marker for how people have been engaging with the stream. In specifically manners that affect me economically. And there is a standing thing that whenever you slay the boss, whenever you get in that last bit of health, you get a Steam key. But nobody has ever, like, pretty much no one has actually, like, claimed that. So it's mostly just a fun thing, I guess. But also there's the, like, channel points thing, which does absolutely heck all for me, but it apparently increases engagement. So here we are. You're supposed to claim them? I mean, yeah. That's the kind of the idea, but a lot of people will just like... A lot of people will just stop when the boss is really low, so that somebody else can get it, because they want to support the channel, but they don't actually care about getting anything in return. So... I've lost track of who has how many at this point, honestly. Okay. Placing a torch. Could do silliness with channel points. Okay. Placing a torch should be a fairly straightforward thing. There you are. Let's clone in mate and guard egg as well while we're at it. Wait, that's the wrong place to put those. There, please. Yeah, so apologies if anyone comes in expecting to actually see Minecraft today, but it turns out there's an OpenGL error that prevents me from streaming and running Minecraft at the same time in 1.16. Didn't know about the Steam key? It's literally on the, like, intermission screen. Slay the boss to win a Steam key. I've written one bot that ties channel points into giving people stuff in Minecraft, not saying it has to be something that ridiculous, but it made it for a fun streamer PvP match. I think Fugi's been doing that as well. Doesn't recognize that. Interesting. Okay, so game rules have changed a bit. Get boolean, rule key. Oh boy. Rule key, boolean value key. Okay, we'll come back to that. This is otherwise largely fairly straightforward. Is replaceable is now handled by the block's material, that's why there's so many more of them now. So, presumably we just get the material. Get material color. Seriously? Get block state. Can we get that? Can we get the material from that? It's just a, okay. Oy vey, oy vey. Facing is now direction, inexplicably. So, is side solid doesn't exist anymore either. But I've definitely used that, so let's check block drafting table. Is valid position, has enough solid side. So let's see, target block, direction up. Target block's up, down, I'm guessing? Yeah. Okay. That should resolve that issue. God, there's so many nested ifs here. The long and short here is it looks for it to be dark enough, it to be a replaceable block, which can be air or anything else, and if it is not like just sky, because otherwise they would just litter the world with them. It looks for actual it looks for indoor stuff, and then it checks if it can actually place a block there. Now it does only check if it can place it on the floor. In theory, I could have these Hatchery Guardians place this on like walls and stuff, but it is fine. Can't find your simplest example of networking code what your sound looks like. Well, that's good to know. semi-irrelevant at this exact moment, as we have determined that I cannot in fact stream and test code at the same time. Because OpenGL, apparently. But, Okay, well that must be used somewhere for when creepers and go off and when Endermen are poking at stuff, so let's check where are Endermen doing anything. No, stupid question. Stupid answer. Where am I calling my init for my network code? Inside of the common setup. Let's see. Stare, attack, look at, look randomly, place block, take block. Take block deactivates when mob griefing is on. Okay, apparently that's its own explicit thing now. Entity mob griefing event. Get boolean game rules stop mob griefing. Okay, there we go. That's all I needed to know. Thank you very much. There. Job's a good one. I guess that saved me having to type it out specifically. Yeah, as I say, noob, I can't actually change it. I can't actually test anything right now. But yeah, there we are. FML common setup event. That's all I got there. Okay. So that should be all set. There's no update that we need to change the tick. There's no mob class of any kind. Looks good. Okay. So, place torch. Activate. Again, this is not going to run anything. Not that it matters because we can't test anything right now. And I won't be able to test anything until I stop streaming. So, alas. Oop. Yeah. There is a very lively Discord conversation going on right now. Okay. We'll leave mating for the time being and head to guarding. Which is mostly just a thing that says move towards a nearby egg. By the way, Noob, were you here earlier when I was very, very upset that they decided to call these goals? Hate it. Hate it so much. Shouldn't be called goals. Registering packets saturating the instance is all local to my mod, so they need to be in on queue work. Understood. Okay, we just got 2 bugs for distance squared. But that's mostly just used for finding things, so that's not a huge problem. Let's see, where is get position? There you are. That also, wow, they don't have square distances anymore. Interesting. Well, that's fine. Change to get distance squared. Are you kidding me? God, I hate when things do this. What is happening here? Get distance squared. Right. It's asking for effect 3D, which is the problem, so... This is a block position, which is technically effect 3i. Hence, yeah. Okay, is it going to be nice enough? Given that Vector 3D is also Minecraft code. Nope, it isn't. Okay. Yeah, thanks, guys. Fixes that part. Okay, so basically just need to do the exact same thing up here. But with room core. I do need smarter like checking for this, because right now the core of the room is relatively not actually meaningful. Like what you would actually want is to determine the closest point along its like boundaries. But yeah. Check if block position vector free I get distance square exists. Let's check. Nope. Near as I can tell, there are in fact no distance checks at all in here. Yeah. None. I'm sure that's not correct. It's probably inheriting some from vector free I, but bleh. Hey, Salil. How you doing? Welcome to a very heavy coding stream, because OpenGL and XSplit are idiots. And we can't actually boot up Minecraft 1.16 whilst we're streaming. At least I'm not the only person having that problem. That's something. Okay, so that's largely going over to an egg fixed. Good. So we can re-engage that instead of our controller. And that just leaves the mating behavior, which is a little bit more complicated. Because, let's see, this has to interact with mob griefing, which we can figure out quite happily there. So game rules dot mob. We need to get the moon factor, which is a different thing now. We need to get the world time to determine if it's day or not, or if it's in a specific bracket wherein the moon is overhead. We need to interact with the settlement manager, and then we need to interact with operating a room. Mating is a complex procedure for kobolds. Yeah, let's start by just doing the things that have been renamed into other things. Nope. There you are, plane. Okay. We also need to add the is in love and set in love parts to our kobolds. Set.of. Let's see. Goal flag dot. Let's see. They want move and I think look. Okay, brings us down to 19 problems. Only 19, wow. Okay, daytime probably is just what we're looking for there, actually. Let's find out. It is another layer deep, because why not? Several layers deep. Get current world time. Okay then. Ay ay ay. Updating for 1.16? Attempting to. 1.12 was so much easier to deal with. Okay, we need to go back over to kobolds. For right now, we can pretty much just add a couple of functions that don't do anything. This is functionally equivalent to a species-wide sterility, but I think it'll be okay for the moment. Once you get the hang of it, there's so much good about 1.16 that makes 1.12 feel like maybe. Have I messed with world gen yet? Not yet. Not yet. But it is going to be in there. World gen I'm saving for a module of this mod. This mod is 1.12 various oddities is a big ol' hunk of stuff. It's very much like the 3.5 D&D, which is what it's heavily inspired by. 1.16 is going to be trying to go modular, so if you don't want to have the world gen stuff, then you just don't have various world gen or whatever I'm calling it in the end. If you don't have the magic stuff, you just don't have various spells or whatnot. But all of the basic foundation systems are in various oddities, which is just the mobs. Is the plan. Anyways. Let's see, moon phase. We want a full moon. Can we get that from here? That's the question. And if I can't find it easily, is there something I can think of that gets the moon phase? Oh wait! There's the lunar set. There's the moon sensor, isn't there? Moon age? Not quite. Or the... It's the light sensor, because when you invert it. Light detector? No? What on earth's this thing called in this version? Ugh! This annoys me. The only other thing I can think to check is slime spawning, so bleh. I hate so much that they inverted the naming scheme. Daylight detector. There you are. Okay. Daylight detector block. Update power. Okay. Oh, this is irritating. We could previously just ask it, but no. Ah, there we are. Moon phase as an integer. That's helpful. Okay. Now, next question. What is a full moon? Oh, and that's clients. That's client side only. Damn. So we do have to use moon factor. Okay. Figures the most useful thing would not be present on the side I'm working on. Okay. Dimension type, moon phase factors, get dimension type, get moon phase. Is it still the same number? Lying voice. What is the moon? I'm going to presume that 1F still means, like, full moon. Like, I'm going to presume that end is a full moon. Can manually call dimension type phase instead of getting the factor? I could, but I kind of enjoy the idea that if you take a kobold to a dimension where it is always a full moon, they're just really horny on me. Like, I kind of like the theory, that the idea that severely messes with their internal biology. They're just like, wow, it's just constantly a party. Kobold scale farm just taking place inside of that kind of world. Should still work on that? Yeah, I know. I'm just fewest calls I can get. The least I change this, the better. Oh, kind of a distance one. Oh boy, there's a fair few calls here. This got a lot more complicated than it previously was. But so much more robust. Need to work on porting Arcane Archives. Ooh, well, good luck with that. I know Dave's been looking together a mod pack recently. Most of my issues probably stem from using clips. Yeah, you and your IntelliJ proselytizing. Look, I use this or I use Notepad++. Okay? I am severely averse to change. Okay, is side solid? This is where it's checking if it can actually place a block there. In this case, we probably need block dot solid side. Oh, on top, that's convenient. We need the world, and we need the place below POS. Okay. Is block loaded? Is there an equivalent for that? I don't know. Yeah, I definitely need to get a more robust bit of code here for distance checking. Because if there's a huge one that's nearby, then its core position is way further away than one that's much smaller and further away. So, it should be actually checking along the boundaries, but it's not currently. Which means this is really inaccurate, but... there we go. What was that? Is area loaded? Thank you. Kobold get position distance squared. Let's give it a shot, shall we? I'm guessing you mean the block position one. That does indeed work. Thank you very much. There we go. Right, that was confusing me for a second because I could have sworn it just worked. Okay. What are we down to here? 5 problems. Well, that one we can fix. Doesn't need to do anything right now. Okay. Although, just out of curiosity, what do kobolds do when they're done with the horizontal mambo? Heckle, apparently. Ah, there we are. Just turns off their love and then sets their age. You had an interesting experience when D&D and coding crossed over. There was an I optional tag. You immediately thought of I optional hag. Ah. The what now? Just Dusty, you'll need to be slightly more specific, please. Let's see, what did I say that was? It's about the room behavior. Because I have not re-implemented my proprietary ageable entity code. There's a bunch I need to do here. This is basically the same stuff that's in the mating code, so... Cobalt deposit egg. That's not it. Oh. It's in the... I think it's the same value as with egg laying. Like how long it takes for the egg to hatch. Let's find out what the max age is here anyway. For kobolds. $6,000 ticks. Okie doke. HR maybe. Okay, so yeah, it's that one. That essentially is the cooldown between breeding, wherein negative values are the points progress towards 0 is adulthood. 0 is adult and able to mate, essentially. Tune back into you talking about kobolds and the horizontal mumbo. Welcome to coding streams. Okay. Placeable volume around. Inside of VHL helper. There you are. Okay, list of all contiguous replaceable locks around the given point. This is used when we are generating a fresh hatchery. It's a quick volumetric scan. You decided to rename your grinder mod to grinder because SEO was... Nope, why did you make a grinder mod? What? For what purpose? Exactly. What function does this serve? A modular grindstone. Ah, I see. Well, evidently the meme was effective then, I guess you could say. Let's see, reader in position. One bites the dust. Someone you know got upset about it, didn't message you about it, and tried to cancel you on Twitter. Let's see. Random egg sites. Here is where we actually check if we can path the place, because if it's like in a locked vault, then there is no point in us trying to go there. So what's your problem? You need an int for maximum distance. Let's see, our range is about 16 anyway, so we could just feed that 16 and be done with it. Okay, all good there. And that also means that we can go update our settlement room behavior to be less commented out. Outside on top, there you are. Okay, that all looks good. Can't tell if it works, but it looks good. It looks complicated and vaguely like code. Okay, move towards the core. Now here, we probably want to feed it an actual value, namely related to how far the mob is allowed to travel. So do you? I look vaguely like code? Is that the implication you're making, Testy? Let's see, so we want the mob. I look good and vaguely like code. I look not vaguely like an anime villain. Are you comparing me to Sephiroth or something? Okay. Well, congrats everybody. We're now completely out of warnings and errors. If only we could test. Okay, kobold mating is ostensibly back on the table. Sephiroth is 6 foot tall. I can find a stool. It's the hair? It's just long hair. There's nothing wrong with having long hair, thank you very much. Although I do need to straighten it, I will say. It's a bit all over the place at the moment. Okay. So now that we've got the controller up, we need to basically, inside of kobolds, re-implement what it actually does there. We need to re-implement our actual controller system. Facial hair plus glasses plus long hair combination that gives the cool anime villain vibe. I like that in no part of your analysis of my aesthetic, apparently, you are allowing for the possibility that I look like a protagonist. Like, if you saw me in a room full of high school students in generic anime appearance, would I not look like a main character? Had the cat or headphones, you could see me in an anime? Don't know. Guess, but don't know. Thankfully, this is all my code, and I don't think this has changed. Okay. So, let's see, where are you? Add controllers. All entity controllers, the list of controllers for this entity. Entity controllers contain clusters of AI tasks to be executed under corresponding contexts. Which in our kobold's case is, am I a regular kobold, or have I been called to the task of defending the nest? This is not root class code just yet, but hopefully I get back to there. It's fine if I copy this code, because this code is mine. Okay. Good start, good start. Now we need to actually go to the point where it starts using that. Which is a little hard to find with all of these error messages. God, inscriptions. Oh, I remember inscriptions. I made so many and then they never got used ever by anybody. Oh well. I think I might have left that to an event. Nope, update AI tasks, there we are. No idea what the equivalent of that is in this version, but I guess I'll find out. Apparently it is just exactly that. Yep, okay. Fine with that. Very okay with that being the case. I'm fine with the name being the same between versions for once. Okay, right. My last break of the evening, everybody. Catch you all momentarily. welcome back, everybody, to a stream with precious little to show because XSplit refuses to let me show it. Specifically, if you were not here earlier on, there is an OpenGL bug between 1.16 and XSplit, which basically means as long as I have XSplit running, and hence the stream, I can't actually boot to show you anything, or indeed test, literally, anything. So this stream has been predominantly just me chucking code from 1.12.2 and making it ostensibly compliant. I'm gonna have a fun time as soon as stream stops, I'm sure. But otherwise, so far, we have managed to go through basically all of the tasks and AI behaviors that are specific to kobolds, and we've managed to re-implement our controller system so we can swap between Guardian and regular kobold behaviors, and hopefully that all works, because I've had to re-implement that in the actual kobold class rather than the oddity class, which is fine, I guess. Ideally, it would just be standard, but here we are. I would just have like a base kobold like brain and a base kobold guardian brain, and I would just swap those in and out. But oh well, here we are. I can take that out, and I think the rest is fine. Let's have a look at what they actually register by rate. Attack melee, target hostile player, friendly hurt by target. That is related to the faction system. Nearest attackable and nearest attackable hostile player, which is to say, if they will defend people that are on good terms with their faction, and they will attack people that are on really bad terms with their faction. But nearest attackable target, goblins, I think we can put in quite happily. It's just a matter of, I'm guessing, nearest attackable goal? We'll find out, I guess. Target goal, okay. Target selector, I believe it called it. Okay, Goblin class does not currently exist, so we'll just comment that out. Because goblins are right here on my list of everything that needs to be in here. Okay, all of that has now been... Oh, that hasn't been. That has been, that has been, that has been. So... it's just a matter of a few other things, really, and actually testing these things to make sure that they work. Okay. I do also have these separated in 1.12 so that when you check the config, you can actually turn off their hostile abilities. If, for instance, you wanted to have a hostile mob that was just sort of passive. But right now we haven't touched adding a config, which is a thing that I'm going to have to do fairly shortly in order to actually implement creature types again. Now, if you didn't know, I wouldn't blame you. If you didn't know, there is... Where are we? Where is it? I don't remember. Config? There you are. There is the mob types enum system inside of Various Oddities 1.12, and basically what this means is that you can assign specific values to any mob in the game, and it will apply specific special tweaks to them. So, for instance, if you apply the aquatic type to them, they can't drown. If you apply the, let's see, the fire type to them, they can't, like, take fire damage of any sort. But they take a little extra damage from cold, that sort of thing. It's a nice way of tweaking things, and one of the most interesting parts of this is that you can also apply it to players, which I rather like. I'm actually just gonna grab this and shove it through to 1.16, because that being entirely my code probably will have no problems. He said right before he had problems. But essentially, it's a way of playing the game in a way that has more, like, more nuance to it, I guess would be the phrase. Swap types also necessary. I think. Yeah, surprisingly few errors here. Yes, there's all the defaults. Which the majority, which we don't really care about right now. Let's see, what am I planning on putting in here? Scorpions, yes. Rats, yes. Kobolds, we can leave out for the moment. Goblins we'll leave in. And more or less all that can go for the moment. So what are you complaining about in here then? Missing enum attribute. Okay. This would be just creature attribute these days, I think. There we go. Fixes a bunch. That can just be living entity. Does not want to be mob entity because that would exclude players, and we want players to be affected by this. There's a lot of stuff here I'm gonna have to change, but it's fine for the moment. How many errors we got here? 163. Ain't that lovely? Moobot there, pointing out you can donate to the stream, which currently will let you in. Well, the current donation goal on the stream relates to medication, because England did a very, very stupid thing, and nowhere in England makes the medication that I'm currently on and need on a daily basis, or else I'm incredibly uncomfortable, to say the least. So, consequently, it has to be imported at substantial cost. A pain in the neck, that. Okay, I'm just going to comment that out. We don't have damage sources currently, so comment out anything using a non-vanilla one. Hey, Firefly! How you doing? So yes, if you happen to have some spare cash lying around this month, you can chuck that towards my meds. That would be heavily appreciated. You donate, but your currency is so irrelevant as to exchange rate that you're not sure it would help. I mean, every little bit does, but fair point. We could probably completely excise the... I'll be leaving in the magic effects part, because 116 various oddities as a core of the various oddities family should include the code for magical effects. But right now they don't exist. Just gonna go through here and comment out the things that we don't currently have in place. $135. Yay. Let's see, fired out that. Has a result. Deny, default, allow. Vanilla logic will determine this as critical hits. Will not be a critical hit, but the player will still attack. Okay, so we just want to set that to apparently something else, because that's not the one that's using. What do you want then? Presumably it's somewhere through here. Results. Okay, get results is a type of results. Then why are you not able to find it? Come on. Presumably because we're importing it from somewhere wrong. Okay. Potion effects. What's going on with potion effects? Potion event? Nope. Potion item, potions... Tell me potion effect doesn't exist anymore? Find that hard to believe. Apparently not. Okay. Living entities should have a map of potion effects. Let's see. Active potions map. Effect instant. Ah, there we are. Oh, Firefly, sorry. Does that then mean that all of the effects are in effects? Yes, they are. Okay, so mob effects just needs to be effects. Obviously, we do not have our custom potions, so we do not have Entangled, Petrified, or Petrifying. So get potion does return something. An effect. Right. So it's just complaining there. Okay, down to 108. Getting there. Let me see. I know I had one player on my patron server who played as Undead. Which meant they were immune to critical hits, could not drown, took extra damage from holy sources, could not be paralyzed or poisoned, but also could not regenerate health naturally. There's trade-offs to these. But, you know, it's interesting. Okay. What's your problem there? Oh, because you're still looking for that. And now there's a problem. Okay. List of... Aha, right. Let's get that. Same thing, but with effect. Don't know why potions still exist if they've renamed everything to effect, but here we are. $113. We actually went up a little there. There's a song that you love, but it makes you depressed when you listen to it. Ah, I see. Okay, there we go. That just brings us to tool material. Which doesn't exist anymore. As far as I know. Nope. Okay, so let's hop over to items and say about hose. Wooden O. Let's see, item tier. Ooh, tier isn't quite where I'd look for here. But that does give us basically everything we're looking for, so convenient, I guess. So next question, how do we get the tier out of an object? Item tier, okay. Just go into tiered item. Get tier. Next question, does anywhere use tool material currently? I don't think so, because I think we're looking for silver for the most part. Yeah, I think Faye are the only one that actually look for it. Oh, night noob. Have a good one. Apologies for breaking Minecraft in another inexplicable and bizarre way.
A new challenger approaches.
Hello there. Okay, so now we need to try and figure out what's to do about this. So we need item tier now, I think. Can you ask me a question? Depends on the question. I do not promise that there'll be a good answer, but you can ask it. Let's see. If held, well, getting the item would help here since we use that a bunch. Do I know reverse engineering license acquisition program crackling? You just wrote a lot of buzzwords there. Most of which mean nothing even by themselves. This would be illegal. Good to know, Flying. Thank you for informing me. Let's see. If held an instance of a tiered item, then item tier equals tiered item held dot. No? Okay, get tier? Yeah, Flying, if you would like to actually just, like, DM me or something, what exactly the hell they just said. I'm curious. How have I managed to break just about everything here? Okay. Can I convert from entity to... Oh, you imported the wrong entity. There. Here. Okay. If item tier equals null, return. If item tier equals item tier.iron, then event set amount, event.get amount, 20% iron. Oh good, that does actually go. Or item tier dot name, or toString, I guess. Contains ignore case, doesn't have any more. Equals only. There. So if it's iron or silver, strictly speaking, it should be cold iron, but that's not a material that currently exists, so Bleh. Okay. Goes for that. Interesting. Don't know if that's used literally anywhere, but there it is. So mostly what's commented out now is things that use custom damage types, as well as anything that uses spells. But everything else is functional. I see. Oh, right, that's what they were asking for. Okay, yeah. Yeah, firstly, illegal. Secondly, not something I can help with. Okay, 100 errors to figure out in here now. A lot of it just renaming stuff. And a lot of creatures that are not in here anymore. Well, I say anymore. Not in here currently. Yeah, a lot here to do with the config as well. Predictably, I guess. Ooh. It's the problem when you make a highly configurable system and then uninstall half of it. Should make a tool that has a little warming element and a shaker motor to get nail polish the right consistency for applying. Ooh, that does sound nice. Okay, config manager. Looking good. I mean, it's like 72 errors, but they're almost exclusively just config VR stuff. Okay, this is a little bit more. Because they went from a set to put, and that's a pain, but oh well. Guessing this is string MBT these days. Apparently string MBT exists, but you can't create it for some reason. Why is that a thing? Why is that private? I guess you just gotta go through that. Okay, string MBT dot value of. Was I not just staring directly at that? Yes, right there. While being a string. So that should be fine. Oh, because it's new. That's why. There you go. Okay, that's all that problem. down to 41 errors. Hooray! Literal nail polish shakers are tools you can buy. That doesn't surprise me. Okay, I think if I want to go much further on setting up this aspect of things, I need to actually implement a config. Which, oh boy. I don't have the slightest clue how that is handled now. This looks fun. Eh. Updating from 112 to 116 is a big leap. I am fortunate that I have a very short list of things to do for this version. What's the problem here? Not applicable for iText component. Aha. Unformatted. If it's a player, we want to get the actual player name. That's why we do that part. But otherwise, when I actually get the key for the entity list, that part's fine. I think this is about good. Just wait for the helicopter legs that just happened out of nowhere for more fun. Yeah, but that was a while ago. That was when we were modeling orcs, I think it was. Really big woofers. And also that was intentional to test the animation of their digitigrade legs. This is not in any way how a config is supposed to look right now, but it's what I got right now. So I haven't actually looked up how to make configs in 1.16, and they are probably quite a bit different to 1.12. But okay, getting closer here. This big ol' wall of text is responsible for configurably applying specific properties to different mobs, including players, specific players, as well as all players in general, if you wish to do it that way. But that meant that we have a big old reliance on the config that we don't currently have, so bleh. But the actual types work now, as far as I know. Have to start all over again so there's a chance for the legs to happen. I don't have to start that far over again. Models are still largely compatible. Just have to change a few names here and there. Yeah. Hooray! Instance, entity register, config manager. Get entity resource from class. Yeah. Okay. Hooray! The config is completely non-functional, but at least that means mob types is screaming less. Oh. But yeah, if you weren't here earlier, I have not been able to boot up the client for the entirety of stream. because there is an OpenGL conflict between Minecraft 1.16 and XSplit, which I'm using to stream. So as long as I'm streaming, I can't boot Minecraft. So I can't test anything or even show anything. It's just... There is apparently a way to fix that, but I cannot do that on stream. So, here we be. Let's see, is there anything here I can fix up? Entity registry. Get entity key. That does seem like something that we can do here. Problem being, I don't think there is such a thing as the entity registry anymore. There's no entity list. There's one strange conflict. It's apparently because XSplit will inject code to try and grab game sources and the like. So you can just have those up rather than having, like, a specific window or whatnot. But unfortunately, it does that whether or not you've actually set it to use game sources, causing this weird conflict in 1.16. It only happens in 1.16, does not happen in 1.12. Which is why we've been able to do this for, like, 5+ years. Okay, let's take a look at VO entities and see where our registration goes. Entity registry. Right there. Okay, so that does exist. Just apparently not the one that we're currently referencing. OBS does the same. Yeah, that's why, flying... well, yeah, that's what flying, mentioned. Ah, right, because registry is the object, not the thing. Entity spawn placement registry. Could that be it? Is that what I'm looking for? There is everything. There's entity types. I feel like entity type registry is what I'm looking for. Like, just get it by the name or something. Can I just grab this from the entity type, then? I don't know, by the way, why entities were split up into types and classes. It's just sort of where we are. Do we have anything that uses mob types? Right. Entity spawn placement registry dot placement type register, nope. Entity types, nope. It's from the class. Can I just get this from the class? There's the question. Presumably, if we change this to entity type, it'll be easier to work with. I'm guessing. But it will break mod types a little bit. But I think we have the time. Let's see, toString. Name integer 10, okay. The translation key isn't, I think, what we're looking for. Because I think that'll do some translation to it, which could be different depending on where we're looking. Yeah, it'll be entity dot something, that sort of thing. My text component will get the translation key again, that gets the translation key again. I think toString is about the only thing I can go for, though, so I guess we use that. Next question. Presumably there is an entity type for players. In 1.12, players aren't, like, registered inside of the entity list, so they don't exist in that registry, which is why we have that separate thing there for saying if it's a player. And player likewise does not... Oh, there you are. Well, you know, they actually finally have something in here. Grand. So player is an entity type. Good. That is one less thing for me to worry about. So does anywhere... I'm guessing a bunch of places use this. Yep. Good progress. Let's see, this will be VO entities.cobalt. And here it would be entity type.player. Okay, straightforward. Still 8 errors, but making progress. Config manager, instance, it's all about the config now. And I think we're good, actually. Yeah, I think that is about as far as we go today, because now I have to basically go watch a Modding 101 tutorial on how to do configs. That's been the most frustrating part of this entire process, by the by, because right before we started doing this update, we did a whole bunch of stuff on settlements that was really cool and complex and whatnot, and we had replaceable volume around, which is like an actual progressive algorithm search to generate a rough map of an interior space, and we use that is based itself on code from the volumetric analysis that we use for changeling hives, and we have all of these wonderful, beautiful, complicated systems, and now I have to search for a tutorial on how to add an entity. Feels kind of like I've got kicked off Olympus there for a bit, but we'll get there eventually. We'll get there eventually. Oh well. But I think that's about all I got for right now. So I hope you've all enjoyed. My next stream should be on a Thursday with some Among Us. Then on Saturday at 9 we have some random gaming with the patrons on the carousel. And we should be back for more of this on Tuesday. Hopefully a little bit more progress. Hopefully able to boot. We'll see. And otherwise, I do make videos over at youtube.com/remembercomic. And everything I do is powered by you over at patreon.com/lying. Especially right now, because now my meds are not unobtainable, but rather difficult to obtain. And I kind of need those. In fact, I think I'm currently feeling like I need to go grab my next dose. I have 2 per day, so bleh. But other than that, hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all as ever next time. Oh, this is a garbage system for babies.